Hello and welcome to Sitting Down with Schneider. Today is May the 25th, so happy Memorial Day to everyone out there. Before we bring in our guest, I would love to say thank you to anyone that has served in our armed forces, uh, continues to serve in our armed forces, and of course, anyone who has lost their lives serving our country. Just want to say my utmost respect to anybody that has been involved in protecting our country. So, all right, without further ado, I'm going to bring in our guest. Please welcome Mr. Kyle Roman. Wait for that link here. And there he
Hey there.
is. Hey, how are you tonight, Mr. Roman?
Oh man, I'm doing great. It's what is it? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, doesn't matter what day it is.
Right.
It
I
is
see
Memorial
those.
Day though, so happy Memorial Day. All of those who made the ultimate sacrifice, right? We appreciate
Yes,
them and
yes,
we try to live our lives to the fullest.
absolutely. Happy Memorial Day to you as well.
Yeah.
Before we continue on, are you okay that I record this and pop it on the YouTube channel?
Absolutely, man. I can't wait.
Excellent. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? Tell us who you are and what you're kind of into.
Yeah. Great. Well, I am Kyle Roman. I am the theater director at Liberty High School. Go Lions. Proud Liberty Lion. Can't wait to get back there to work. So I'm the advisor to Playmakers Drama Club at Liberty. Direct the shows. Teach theater arts courses. I also teach an English class to the Public Art and Design Academy, PADA Academy, at Liberty. So I got kind of a lot going on, but I wouldn't have it any other way. It's super fun, and the student base is the best. Real diverse in terms of who they are and how they think, and it keeps me on my toes.
Right on.
Yeah.
So, how are you holding up during all of this shelter in place?
Oh wow! So we're like, what are we like? 2 months in, maybe a little more than that. I have to say, at first it was honestly kind of depressing. If I could be completely truthful about it, not knowing when, not having definitive schedules for whatever reason, not having that in my life was making me a little depressed. And I started thinking to myself, like, hey, man, that's your choice to be depressed over that. So we're just trying to ride it out, me and my wife and my son Jackson, just trying to ride it out the best we can, being there for one another, being our best versions of ourselves for one another, and we've been lucky enough to have lots of social distance interaction with theater program folks like yourself over these past couple months, kind of driving by. I had my 40th birthday. My son just had his 11th birthday. And then there's been birthdays all over the theater program. And so we're trying to make it out to every single one of them, of those drive-through birthday parties, which is a really cool thing. And so, I'm long and short of it is I'm trying to make the best of it.
How have you found the distance learning, or just sorry, the distance teaching is going?
Well, it's going okay. We, as a site, Liberty, we're making all of our decisions in terms of education about in finishing out the year, always with the utmost respect for equity at home for the student. We recognize that students don't have the exact optimal situation at home. When they're at home, they're not just sitting around waiting for their assignments. I have kids who have younger siblings who are literally helping their younger siblings do their virtual assignments in the younger grades because their parents are nurses, their parents are retail workers, essential workers. So all of our decisions that we made in terms of what we assign, what we expect from a student, comes from our adherence to the notion that it has to be equitable for everybody's situation. So I've been assigning kids some fun stuff to do, to watch some things and to make comments on what they've seen, and maybe even teach something to someone in their home. Like I assign kids to teach an improv game to their family and play it with them at home, because as much as you can, let's make this uh, a memorable and joyous experience, albeit the fact that we're all doing things that we don't normally do, which is stay home all the darn time. So, and then just getting kids to watch theater, to be, conscious critics of theater, to maybe even think back about the things that they had already learned, because more than anyone at this point in the year, you're not really teaching new stuff. You're kind of cycling back to things, kind of assessing things as an educator. And so I just want to make sure that the kids know that what they're doing for my classes is enjoyable, it's equitable for all of them, and that they're going to have some fun doing it. And that's all that's important to me.
Yeah, and it's almost less about like the whole earning that grade, but almost like an outlet. Hopefully that's what I'm hoping, that
Absolutely.
you're home all day, and you've got this and that and the other thing, and some kids are a little more creative, whatever. But if they have this, they can go to. You don't have to go on every single day, but go and, like you said, just interact with some theater. Just interact. Keep your foot in it, if you will, a little bit.
Yeah, and I, like yourself, I have always looked at what I've done both as a theater teacher and then previously as an English teacher as a support to the other subjects. And so I asked kids throughout the year to think about who their audience is and what they might be paying for this. And so, and then also to maybe think critically about the author's purpose in the piece that we're working with, so that we're there to support the other subjects. Because in reality, as an elective course, we can be the outlet, and they could feel good and they can be confident with us and everything. But we both know that not every one of the kids is going to pursue acting beyond or stagecraft or theater beyond high school. And so we want to make sure that we're doing what we're doing to support the other subjects and lift kids up in those subjects, even if it is just, hey, get all your jitters out here so that you could actually focus.
Right.
To me, that's huge if we can provide that for the other subjects. So, yeah.
Now, how's it, I asked the teaching piece, there's also the dad piece, how's that been? I don't have the little ones, right, at home. Right. Patrick's kind of done his thing, finishing out his senior year. How has that been with balancing, wanting to be doing your distance teaching and then also helping Jackson with his own learning?
I've actually enjoyed every moment of it. Nicole and I are aware of the fact that this is our only child. Every moment counts with him. We don't have a chance to redeem ourselves with another child. And so we've been just doing our best, the two of us, to support Jackson where we can in his education. We're very lucky that at Oakley Elementary, he has a absolute superb teacher in Gail Covarrubias, who also had kids go through Liberty, who is just fantastic, a master teacher of all master teachers, has given them a balance of fun stuff to do, has had at least 1 or 2 weekly Zooms so that they could socialize with one another, and has his tech skills in terms of accessing documents, collaborating on documents, creating slides for presentations, speaking verbally, has upticked during distance learning. So we couldn't be more satisfied. And on the days where he was frustrated, we were able to be there for him as parents, whereas we're not able to do that when he's at school, And so he's coming through the distance learning process, with next week being the final week of it. He's coming through it knowing that he could come to his parents for any academic issues or any academic, fears. And we're going to be there waiting to help him find a solution. And so I've enjoyed, his little assignments that he gets to do, because then I also get to teach again. I don't look at what I'm doing in terms of assigning stuff for the end of the year as true teaching, but I actually got to teach my own child in a critical point in his education over the last couple months, him going on to middle school after Oakley Elementary. So I feel great about where he's at. And, I've been able to balance it because a lot of my students are patient. They understand that what they're doing at the end of the year is it's prioritized to their own lives. I'm not trying to prioritize my subject over their life.
I hear you. And speaking of your own students, it goes beyond the classroom, as we know. There are a lot of things that got taken away as we ended the year. And so I don't need to ask you this, because I just wondered if you'd agree with me. I feel like the kids have risen up beautifully. These kids that had and it's so relative. There's people that, are they have the disease, they're getting sick, everything's relative on what we've lost, right? But you lose something, it's disappointing. But I feel like it's been a pretty amazing, what I've seen. I don't know if you've seen that same thing from the kids, the theater kids.
All I can speak from is the perspective of a faculty member at Liberty High School. And I don't feel like we could expect much more than what we've received, both as a member of the faculty and then also the support from administration as a member of the faculty, and also what the students have received in terms of the support for their end of the year, primarily focusing on seniors, because everybody knows that seniors are the priority. That's literally across the board. It's a mantra. Everyone is working to make everything as best as possible for the seniors. And we recognize the urgency of the moment in terms of where they're heading to beyond where we're at right now. And we're trying to meet that urgency with the utmost care and support. And I feel like we're going to be stronger as a high school site because of that.
Yeah, and just what you guys are doing, like just going through that to pick up the cap and gown, just the complete unity of the teachers that were out there. And then I'm feeling like they're seeing what you guys are doing and they're responding accordingly, because they're stepping up. They're making it, look, we can't do awards night, we can't do that, but we're going to do it, over the internet, and we're going to make it as special as we can, and everyone in their little spots as they're presenting had their little sections created and they were dressed up. And, it's just, I think it's just really neat to see people at least making the best out of what has been handed, So any new hobbies? A lot of people have been taking in new hobbies. People are baking, picking up guitar. Have you picked up on any new hobbies or anything like that?
Yeah, well, what I started doing is something that I've wanted to do for a long time, but was never able to do it, fully jump into it, because I was always pursuing something. I graduated from Chico State and I went to Santa Clara because I thought I wanted to be involved in college administration. And then when I didn't want to be a dean of students anymore, like halfway through that program, I had to finish it at some point. And then I enrolled in a teacher credential program. And then with that master's degree, like literally all of that, add that up, getting married, having a child, literally just a hobby that I've always wanted to do, I was never able to do, which was start a podcast. And so I barely worked in the radio industry back in the early 2000s, and I caught a little bit of a bug there, and I really wanted to pursue it more, but the opportunities weren't there. And so the podcasting thing and kind of generating content was always a huge, like, I'm going to do this at some point. And I was able to, and I'm lucky that now, 10 years later, there's apps that I could actually use that help you make a podcast. So it's not like it used to be where you needed to like schedule studio time and, like pursue people who had this professional, skill in terms of editing audio and capturing audio. Now our devices are so much easier to navigate that, I was able to pick up on that skill and turn it into a little bit of something. And then, there's other things that I would really love to learn about more and that I plan on pursuing more with a lot of our downtime. So, but that's the main one.
And we can listen to that podcast, right? Artivism.
Yeah.
And you can get there by going to your Facebook page. Is that like the best way
yeah,
to get there?
I've been posting on my Facebook page. I do have an Instagram page that has the link. It's in my bio on Instagram. So if you go to The Right Life on Instagram, life with an Y because the other one was taken.
Of course.
Right. The link is in my bio there. It's artivism_now on Instagram. It has its own Instagram page, and the link is there as well. I've interviewed 3 people so far. Episode 3 is coming up actually this Wednesday. I'm gonna upload it. And basically it's a profile show where I profile an artist in the community who is also an activist, who is standing up for something or advocating for something within their own neighborhood, within their own community, or the world community. And so I have another theater person from Contra Costa County Performing Arts School. His name is AJ Mitchell. He performs professionally in the Bay Area. He's a theater director like us. And so his episode is coming up on Wednesday. If you're a theater person, listen in on it because he has some great insight. And then after that, I have an artist that I am interviewing this week. I have 2 more interviews this week. Jaime Santiago Longa is an artist out of San Francisco. And then Raven Sanchez is an artist out of Whittier, California, in Southern Cal. So they're both doing great work within their communities and with their artwork. So I'm just trying to profile them and start conversations on how art can be a tool for good in a community and not just a form of distraction or entertainment.
Right on, man. So good. I was wondering, you mentioned 3 and I said, I know there were 2. So the third one comes out on Wednesday, and you've got you got the docket. So you got a few more then also waiting in the wings. That's great. That's good.
Yeah, absolutely.
And are you enjoying it? Is it fun? Are you enjoying doing it?
It's a ton of fun. It's another one of those skills. So like with podcasting, you have to be able to edit and capture audio, right? And so editing audio, and then I learned how to create my own tracks in the GarageBand app on my phone. So I have my own tracks that I created as like little bumper pieces of music throughout the podcast. And then I'm recording them on a Zoom. So I have video to go along with the audio, and I just use the audio from my Zoom, download it into the app, edit it from there. And then I have goals of turning it into a YouTube channel as well once the quarantine is lifted, going out to the neighborhoods and actually seeing these pieces of art and having the artists speak to us on video, I think could be really powerful.
Show some of the pieces too, like
right,
if there are pieces to be seen. Right on.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, so last question I like to ask before we wrap up, I don't want to take your whole evening, is once this has lifted, what's going to be the first couple things that you want to go do right off the bat?
Wow.
I know it's kind of a loaded question, and if there's too many to even think about, then you can choose to pass, but I always like to just throw
No,
this out to people.
it's great. And if my if my friends down in Southern California and Orange County don't quit going to beaches, I would love to go down there. If they could stay home and stay safe, my first thing would be to get down to Southern California, because that's the area that just creative wise and physically and emotionally just heals me as an individual. And I feel like if I'm healed, then I could do more good for other people. Another thing I'd like to do, just kind of program wise, for the theater kids, is just open the theater back up and have just some moments of healing for them in that space. And this is something that AJ Mitchell and I talked about on the upcoming episode of Artivism Now, is that we think of theater as a healing place. And I know that you also feel that way. I feel like it's a place where people come when they might be suffering, or they might be not wanted elsewhere. And so just opening the theater back up one more time, to have the cast of A Chorus Line and the cast of Stand and Deliver, which we never got to do, come in there, and we could just have some time together to be in our healing place and to talk with one another and to give one another a hug if we want, give high fives if we want, whatever it is that's going to help us get beyond what we missed. I want to be able to provide that space for us. So, I want it to be, I want people to have a place to heal. And that's honestly one of the first things I want to do. Is I want to get back into the theater with my people, and I want to get back to talking about the work we're going to do and the amazing magic we're going to make. And I want to give them some time, some time together. So
Yeah, jump right back in and just get that done. Yeah, I feel the same way. I still have not. I'd still love to try and do Wonka somehow. You know what I mean? And just, I
yeah.
mean, that would just be an amazing way to. And I don't
Mhm.
know, maybe it might happen, it might not. But I love what you're saying. It's just a way to, like you're saying, just get back that
Mhm.
balance and jump back in, and
Absolutely.
let's get you down to SoCal and also get some kids in the theater. That'd be real nice.
Absolutely.
All right, man. Well, I think Patty and I are going to go watch a little episode of Ozark, so we got that locked
All
in,
right.
and I'll
Nice.
let you get back to the fam. Thank you so much for sitting down with me tonight, man. I really appreciate it.
I really appreciate it as well, and thanks for having me on. And I look forward to all of us resuming business as usual very
Business as
soon.
usual. Let's keep our fingers crossed and hope for it sooner than later.
Absolutely.
All right, my man. You have a good one.
Hey, thank you, sir. Take
All
care.
right, have a good night.
Okay. Bye bye.